He's not doing his job very probably if there's someone sniffing around one of his players for 100 million and he hasn't got a clue what's going on. So that and more coming up as myself and Angelina are here for the Q&A this week as we get closer to more and more transfers happening and a lot more football happening as well. So I'm going to kick things off with Azrael Akiel, who I believe that's how you say it. So do you think that Sancho is going to Man United? As by looking at recent reports, I think it's going down the drain.
Okay, this saga. You know what? I think you can't read too much into reports. I know that one of the guys at Dortmund has come out and said there has been no communication whatsoever. I find that very hard to believe.
Me too.
Like, there's no smoke without fire. I think as much as I understand why people are thinking maybe it's not going to happen because of what Dortmund have kind of come out and said, I'm kind of feeling like, is this a bit of a publicity stunt? Is this like, I don't really know. In my head, I think it is still going to happen. I think Sancho, from what I've read, what I've heard about through the grapevine, he wants to be in Manchester. He wants to play in Manchester. He's happy to play for, I know he used to play for City, but he's happy to play for Manchester United. He wants to be part of that team. Manchester United want him, obviously, because this has been going on for about 10 million years. He would fit in so well at the club. They are in need of somebody on that side. Obviously, Greenwood has been great, but you can't just rely on Greenwood and a shaky Dan James. I think also for England moving forward, having Rashford, Sancho and Greenwood all playing together would be great. And yeah, I still think it's going to happen. I know that there are discussions with the money and stuff like that. I'm not a financial expert, so I can't really say.
I think it is going to happen. Yeah. Everyone was
Everything seems to lean towards it happening, apart from one report recently where someone from Dortmund's come out and just said, oh no, nothing's happening.
Imagine that though. Imagine actually thinking that this high up senior official at Dortmund is going, well, what are you on about? Nothing's happened. I mean, he's clearly not telling the truth. I mean, he's not doing his job very probably if there's someone sniffing around one of his players for 100 million and he hasn't got a clue what's going on.
Exactly. Talks have been had at the end of the day.
Talks have been had. Everyone's talking about it. He's going to go. He's going to end up at Manchester United. There's no way he's not. And at the end, yes, Edward would, of course, in Manchester United's best interest, to try to not pay as much. And of course, Dortmund, in their own best interest, are trying to get more, as much as they think Sancho is worth, which is a lot. It's going to happen. There's no way they're going to be like, hey, Jadon, yeah, forget about it. You're sticking with us.
I just think the amount of money that United have paid for people in the past, i.e. Harry Maguire, I can't imagine them now suddenly being like, oh, hang on, Jadon Sancho, no, we're not breaking.
Yeah, no, we'll skip the extra 10 for you, Jadon. It happened with Maguire when there was a difference in price. The same thing with Pogba, and I think Sancho has 2 years left on his contract, which means next summer, to avoid losing him on a free the following summer, so summer 2021, they'll have to accept like 30 or 40 million for him, if anything. Yeah. And they're not going to do that. So yes, of all transfers, I feel like this is the one that's most likely to happen.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, this is from Rishi Oak. So, looking at the future, what is the best option for Kai Havertz? Bayern, Chelsea or Real? Love the vids. Love from India. Thank you.
Ooh, the best option for Kai Havertz. You see, I always thought it was Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it seems like a more natural move.
It just completely makes sense. Having said that, Rummenigge, the CEO, has come out and said they won't be making any more massive signings because Leroy Sané was quite big for them at 50 million, and in post-lockdown times, the money isn't exactly free-flowing. And it looks like Chelsea are definitely the front runners, and Chelsea want him. I don't think there's a link to Real Madrid. I don't think they really could use him in terms of the way they play. I think the best option would be for Chelsea, and I think he'd fit in really well. In fact, we did make a video on this, so it's great that they asked this question, Rishi, because where should we leave a little poll up around here somewhere? Not a poll, just a link to the video on Kai Havertz. Myself and Nico talked about it a lot, Nico from our German channel. And we talked about Havertz and where he's going to play and the different tactics and Chelsea up front. And we basically came to the conclusion that Chelsea are going to be brilliant next season when they eventually sign Kai Havertz. And it's rather depressing.
I think. Yeah.
It's probably going to happen. But the next question so we can talk a little bit more about it. It involves another Chelsea signing from Zakaria Azoun, who has said, does Hakim Ziyech have the physicality to play in the Premier League?
I've seen a lot of talk about this, and I don't really have any concerns. I think if his physicality was that much of an issue, I don't think Chelsea would have been running to be signing him as early on as they did.
Yeah.
There's this thing called, gyms, and there's these things called physios and nutritionists and all these wonderful things that wonderful, rich clubs like Chelsea have in order to prepare players that maybe aren't as physical as they should be. And I'm sure at the end of the day, this guy, he's made, I think I read something with one of his old coaches has said, like, every move he's made, people have questioned, like, can he make the next level? Can he make the next level? And he always does. So I'm sure he will be fine. Like I say, if there were major concerns, I think Chelsea have probably got all of that in line. Obviously, the Premier League is different. It is a lot more physical. But, I'm not majorly concerned. I think he will be fine, to be honest.
Me neither. And I think you'd only have to look at his performances in the Champions League, against the biggest and the best and the fittest teams. The thing is, as well, you've got to think about Ziyech is that if he's getting involved in big physical battles, Chelsea aren't using him very well.
Yeah, that's not necessarily what he's been
or with the style of plays. If Chelsea have bought him saying, "Oh, you need to be bigger, you need to be more physical," they obviously haven't done their homework because that's not his game.
Yeah,
that's like them signing Timo Werner and asking him to be a big physical target man. He's not got the physicality for that. So I think, obviously they haven't done. You would like to think that, I think most professional clubs, when making a new signing, are well aware of how they play, of their strengths and weaknesses, and how they're going to fit into a system. And I don't think his physicality will be any issue. And if you think he's too small, then you only need to look at David Silva over the last decade to see what a small player can do.
Exactly. I mean, if you're going off what people look like physically, you can't
watch his
call
feet.
it.
Forget about the rest of him. Watch his feet. The guy can dance.
Okay, so the next question is from SHDW_mellowyellow. So, do you think Willian will succeed at Arsenal, assuming they do sign him and the deal doesn't break down last minute? Love the optimism there.
Yeah, so it looks like they will sign him. I think, bar a late run from Spurs, which I think is just rumours, not going to happen. He's going to leave Chelsea on a free after his contract runs out on a 3-year deal, which is pretty good for a 32-year-old, especially on like 200k a week or something at Arsenal. Yeah, I think he will. I think he will succeed. I don't think there's any pressure on him. I don't think there's any pressure on him to come in and be like the guy. He's not being brought in for a big transfer fee like Pepe, like 72 million, or to be the talisman of the team like Aubameyang is. No, I'm not sure there's pressure on him. Yeah, he's just a really, really good option to have on a free transfer. He does not need any time to settle in. He's lived in London for the last however many years, 6 years. He's played, 200 games in the Premier League. Yeah, he's played in the Premier League. All he literally is doing is just changing the colour of his kit. I'm sure Willian will be absolutely fine. He'll do everything that you've seen him do at Chelsea. Flashes of brilliance. A few games where he goes missing. A brilliant set piece taker. A really good player to have. And this is more of like a normal, what you're getting switch. I don't think you'd give a 32-year-old, even though it's on a free, such a big deal if you weren't so sure of what he's going to bring. If he suddenly became rubbish, or he suddenly became a Ballon d'Or, candidate, I'd be amazed. That would be very out of the ordinary. What you're going to see is what you've seen from the last few years at Chelsea, exactly the same guy. He's not in the process of changing. He's not like a youngster. I don't think. Goal TV, right, next up we're going to rate these transfer rumours, 1 to 10. So I'm guessing 1 being not happening, 10 being nailed on signing. So Alaba to Barcelona.
I'll probably go with like a 3 or a 4, because I could see why Barcelona would want him, but I think he's still got a place in that Bayern team.
Yeah.
And I can't see why he would want to leave, to be honest.
Thiago to PSG.
I'll give this more of like a 6 maybe, just because I think, obviously there's rumours about Liverpool. They do have people in that kind of central midfield role at PSG anyway, like Herrera, I think like Verratti as well. But I think PSG could afford him.
Yeah.
It seems like a natural move over to Paris for a season or two. I think he'd fit in well. So yeah, I'll go with the 6 for that.
Onana to Chelsea.
I don't know if this is like a done deal or anything. I don't think it is, but just because I could see it happening more, I'll go with maybe like a 7 or an 8, because I think out of their options, I mean, it's no surprise that Chelsea want a goalkeeper.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably crying in a corner. Like
it's very likely that Kepa's leaving. It's just about who's going to replace him, and I think the fact that Onana is cheaper than Ter Stegen, Oblak, and whoever else probably makes it.
Yeah, I mean those goalkeepers, I can't see leaving. So it's like, who else do you look at?
Yeah.
If you compare him with, say, Dean Henderson, who they've been looking at, similar kind of ages, but he's got so much more experience, which they will need. So
Onana, Partey to Arsenal.
Oh, this has been going on forever.
Seems to have cooled recently a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like, again, I'm going to go for more like a 6, just because I feel like it should have happened by now. I don't know, maybe I'm just...
No. I agree, because there was so much talk. I think Atleti are waiting until after the Champions League. They've got a few more things to worry about at the moment, including, the upcoming games.
Regarding him being at Arsenal, obviously Arsenal with that FA Cup now have got, I don't know, a little bit more, like, look at us, look how great we are, even though we're really not that great. But and yeah, he would fit in there. It's just also leaving Atletico for Arsenal. I don't know, but who knows.
And lastly, Cavani to Atletico.
I'm going to go in the middle with a 5, just because I feel like it seems to be more Benfica, the route that he's going down.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I could also see why Atletico would want him, because they need someone that can score some goals.
Yeah, so. I think so as well. But I think Benfica, to me, it seems like a good haven for him. Like staying within European football in the Champions League.
But you're just on the edge of Europe to head back home. So
perfect.
Okay.
All right, you up next.
Last question now. This is from Joseph03. So, what's your favourite cartoon, or what was your favourite cartoon whilst growing up?
What a question.
Mine was Ed, Ed and Eddie, Love from Cyprus. Ed, Ed and Eddie.
God, I've missed these fun questions at the end.
Yes.
What was a good cartoon
Ed,
growing
Ed
up?
and Eddie was good.
It was. I was a big Scooby-Doo fan.
Yes. I watched The Simpsons a lot as well.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else.
There was loads of like the Hanna-Barbera ones, like Cow and Chicken and Johnny Bravo.
Oh my God, Cow and Chicken. That was...
By the way, for anyone who does no idea what we're talking about, I think it was only English, well, they're American. But yeah, probably English or American TV shows. I'm not sure people would know what we're on about.
Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. Oh God. I need to go watch some cartoons now.
I'm going with Scooby-Doo. I'm sticking with Scooby-Doo.
I'm going to go with Ed, Ed and Eddie, I think, because I did... And there was like a plank of wood that was like...
a plank.
Yeah, I just thought...
That was Jimmy's little sidekick, the kid with the braces.
And I liked how different all the Eds were, but they were still friends. That's
But they were all Eds at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Well, what a great way to finish the show. Thanks for that question, Joseph. That is all from us for today's Q&A. Make sure you look out as well, though, for the Q&A extras coming up over the weekend. As always, thank you so much for all of your questions. Every Wednesday night in the YouTube community tab is where you can leave your questions for the following Friday's Q&A. But as for myself and Angelina, that is all. So we will see you guys next time.